right. Alright, folks. I'm going to try not to make this long. I don't even know what I want to talk about. I just want to talk about the continent of Asia, I guess. I want to talk about mainly the Philippines. I want to talk about the Filipino P. I want to talk about black men in the continent of Asia. I'm going to take the sound off of this one. Okay, here we go. Come on, don't start. There you go. Alright. Now let's... Okay. This here video is about them expelling people from Japan, and one of the things that this video here is about expelling people from Japan, as you saw the title. Here's the title. Is Japan expelling tourists? Okay. I think that when you travel to somebody else's country away from your own, I think it's your obligation and I think it's your obligation to be on your best behavior, be in your best humility. As you saw at the beginning of this video, black guys on the subway acting like they was in New York. Well, Japan ain't in New York. That's and even if the cops don't, like in New York City, depending on who's on the subway train and you go to act on a fool, you'll end up in a horrible fight because some 6 foot, 250-pound men, whether they be white, black, or whatever they are, in New York, they ain't gonna put up with your crap. They'll get up in your face. You don't know how to sit still on the train or whatever, They'll get in your face and let you know where the rubber meets the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, sit your behind down, man. We didn't get on this bus to deal with you. We trying to get home without no complications, People will jack you up, you know what I mean? And I know me, I don't play with people out on the street. Like, I'm always got something on me. I always got something with me. I always got something else with me. I will use it, okay? Whether it's my piece or whether it's my pepper spray or whatever, I will use it. And you don't know how many times people have wanted to meet me after work and meet me at the bus stop and all this kind of stuff because everybody's macho and everybody's got to, be a threat to you when they don't have to be. That's just the way it is. And I'll tell you what, Japan, I don't know. I'd have to have some friends in Japan in order for me to go to Japan. I'd have to have like an Asian friend or at least an American friend that speaks Japanese to go over there with me. And guy or girl, whichever one, and they would be with me all the time. I would not. This place, man. And let me tell you something. People in the continent of Asia love their busy culture. They love, it ain't like here in America where people get upset because there's too many people. We all got claustrophobia over here in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all get sick and tired of traffic. We all get sick and tired of, look at that. We all get sick and tired of, sweating on each other, smelling each other, breathing on each other, running into each other, bumping into each other. We all get tired of, lack of room. You know what I mean? I'm from Pittsburgh. I went to New York City back in 21, I believe. Right after the pandemic, I went to New York, well, right in the middle of it, actually. Right near the end of it, actually. I went to New York City, and I'm glad I didn't get on the subway, because I'd have ended up, I don't know, it would have been bad. But as far as being out there on broad daylight in the pandemic, it just recently, this might have been their first day out in full scale. I was there, and wow, that's scary. That picture of Buddha, I didn't know she was that blown up, but good Lord. And if people actually go there, and, oh my good Lord, I'd have to take some anointing oil with me and call on the name of Jesus. Look at this woman. Did she just throw her stuff on the ground? In Japan? In Japan, I think is one of the most cleanest parts of Asia you ever want to come into. And there's people who, wow. So this is what Americans, does it say Americans? It says tourists. So, it ain't always about Americans. They could be from Canada. They could be from Russia. They could be, One of the things that I have a conviction about going over there to these foreign countries is recording people when they know I'm recording. I mean, if I'm recording and you didn't know I was recording, that's one thing. But for me to just pull out my phone and start recording you, look at this woman chasing that poor girl around like that. Like, and look, it's all these white people taking, look. And maybe they don't want their picture taken. Like, she shouldn't be offended because she's not being herself. She's wearing a costume. And whatever she's doing is all about that costume. And so she shouldn't be offended if people want to take her picture. I'm going to tell you that right there. Okay? She shouldn't be offended. Okay? Like, see, they ain't offended. Okay? You know what I mean? Because your dress code or whatever, that's all part of your show. And people come there to see your show. Like, that's not how you dress every day. But you shouldn't get offended by people wanting to take pictures of you. But I gotta admit, like, the paparazzi, come on. Like, don't block the woman's path. Don't insult the woman acting like, she ain't a movie star. She just doing a service and she would like to go home without, you know what I'm saying, but okay. But anyway, to me, I don't think I could do it. Like, just take out my phone and start recording people in any of these Asian nations. You know what I mean? I don't do that anywhere. Like, even here in the States, like, I go in a mall. And all I do is, like, I like to record. And here in America, people will give you evil looks like they're about to punch you in 2 seconds if you don't put that phone away. And, like, when I go in malls, I like to record. But I've learned to, like, do it, like, make it look like I'm looking at my phone. And what I'll do is I'll, like, take pictures instead of, like, just record. I'll go up top and take pictures, go down to the bottom and snap a picture real quick. I don't walk through the mall and do the whole tour like I usually do. Recently, I went to my old hometown and I walked through Pittsburgh Mills Mall. And I'm walking and talking, and there was a man and his lovely wife and their kid, and the kid was like wanting me to record him, but the dad was getting pissed off. Like, I could tell he was getting offended. And the wife was acting like, I was trying to take a picture, because she was kind of hot. So she thought I was, he was getting offended, and the wife thought I was trying to be, and I'm thinking, what good does that do me to take a picture of a hot lady with her husband? Like, am I making a love movie, or what's going on, But, he got offended, so I put my phone away. And I decided to wait till they made it to the other side, and then I decided to go back to play and finish recording. But, some people don't like that. They don't like to be recorded, okay? And, I don't mind somebody recording me as long as it's not like they're trying to make like a podcast out of me or whatever. Like, I've seen people just pull out their camera like right here, and just take pictures of me to my face. I went in a Taco Bell one time, and I'm in there ordering my food, and I sat down and I realized this gay dude was in there, and I don't know if that has anything to do with him being gay or not. But he was filming me the whole time. And finally, I got up, like I was about to walk up to him and say, "Man, are you going to sit there and film me the whole time? Like, what's your YouTube channel? Did you invite me to be part of your YouTube channel at least, dude? Like, hey, man, like at least tell me that you're filming me and say, hey, man, like, hey, I'm putting you on my Facebook channel, I'm putting you on my YouTube channel, and we can talk about it. And if I say I don't want you to do that, then I don't want you to do that. And pretty soon, look at this. Pretty soon it's going to get to the point to where, like here, not only here, but in the United States, is people are going to start getting arrested for this stuff. Social media hasn't been around forever, and we're basically slowly working on ways to make certain laws about it and against it. You know what I'm saying? Because people will, people are actually going out to the streets and doing dangerous pranks on people to get people killed. They're actually out there doing dangerous pranks on people. Okay, and people are getting hurt, okay, in these pranks. People are getting hurt in these pranks. And so, sometimes it's best to don't do it, Now, where I want to go next. I want to go to them, and then I'll finish with the Filipina P. But these guys here, are a trip. Tri-Fate Lifestyle. I think I'm getting to that point where I'm going to have to restart my thing. I don't know what it is about the queue, but after I'm using the queue for a while, my I don't know if it's my internet service or what it is, but it starts to get tired. I don't know, but if this doesn't work out, I will erase and go back to all this later. But what I like about this video here is their name is Tri-Fate Lifestyle, and I'm new to their channel. Matter of fact, let me push subscribe. Yeah, I just subscribed. Okay, because I'm new to their channel. I've been watching their content. They're always in the Philippines. What I don't like about them is they said some things about the Philippines that I thought were unnecessary, because what the Philippines has and don't has, that is all their culture and the beauty of the Philippines. That's not for you to compare them. I mean, did you see that? Did you see how small those roads were in Japan and how many people are all shriveled up, bumping into each other in one place? Did you see how busy their public transportation was and all like that in Japan? I mean, I think if I was in Japan, I would definitely stick to the tourist attraction. And, I would definitely be renting a vehicle and driving around that joint. Like, that's just too much. That's just too much. I don't know. I think I would feel out of place, really, in Japan. And I forgot to go to the brother. I don't want to go to these guys yet. I forgot to go to the brother. Well, I'll go to these guys first, because I'll go on and go to these guys. I want to go to the part where they met up with the kids and they were walking. That really touched my heart in a way. And let me see here. When they get to the kids. They go walking through this one village, and they ended up having this army of kids following. Here they are. Oh, man. Okay, let's just put it here. All right.
Walking street over there. Which one? Like that way, like it's really thin, like it's a walking area, but I don't know if it'll just be weird, like neighborhood.
Oh yes, right here, right after they pass the basketball place.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, what's up?
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning. Are you a vlogger?
Yeah, we are.
What's your
It's called Trifade.
Right.
Yeah.
Follow. Sticker, don't have.
I don't know.
What? What again?
Trifade.
Right. What's daily?
Trifate. Yep.
Are you the one that eating in Quiapo?
I don't think so. Not yet. Yeah.
Welcome to the Philippines.
Thank you.
Welcome to Romblani Street, guys.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. See ya.
Watch this.
Have a nice
Alright.
These kids are gonna start
Turn
following.
into, whoa, colorful. Hey. We got a posse now. Yeah.
What happened?
Huh? What? Oh. Oh, here's a bridge. There it is. What's this way? Kinatala? Where does it go? Does it go to the road? To the road? Okay. We will go this way. McDo? McDo? Where's McDonald's? This way? McDonald's? McDo? Down over there? Okay. Alright.
One thing I gotta say about people like me, I don't like being around people that are like poor. It kind of depresses me. It makes me feel, I don't know. I think there's a lot I can learn from people who, and that's one thing beautiful about the Philippines, is that they can take and duct tape their lives together with anything. And I mean, this is the part of the world where typhoons come in every year and just blow things up, and earthquakes happening all over the place on this continent. And we're over here in America looking at this, and we're just like, oh, those poor people. Anyway, can I have a martini on the rocks, please? I mean, what I'm saying, these people go through so much, and these kids got smiles on their faces in these countries, in these little neighborhoods, in these under the bridges, these little neighborhoods under the bridges, these little neighborhoods way back, and they make sure, like, if you don't live in a certain place and make a certain amount of money, they confine you to a certain area in these countries. You know what I'm saying? There's no ghettos, on top of the bridge. There's no ghettos like there, it's not like here in Pittsburgh where you have like a ghetto, and then you got this really beautiful uptown kind of place, and then you go to another ghetto, and then you got this middle class part of town, and then you go through a ghetto, and then you got this part of town where the poor people and the rich people get along, and you got rich people, living right next door to poor people or something like that, and then you go through this next town, and it's racist. No blacks allowed, you know what I'm saying? They don't want blacks in there, Sundown City, whatever. You go to another town, they don't want no whites in there because, the whites live across the bridge, the blacks live across the bridge on the other side, and they don't get along. They don't want each other in their town. You're not allowed to cross the bridge unless you're going to get on the highway. So, you can't stop. You got to get on the highway. You got all these rules here, like even here in Pennsylvania where I live, even around Allegheny County, you got rules about certain neighborhoods and stuff. People don't accept you wherever you go, and like these guys can go into the Philippines, and these kids are like, well, we're going to follow them to McDonald's, maybe they'll feed us. But, you'll see here in the video, some of them will turn back because their parents don't want them to beg or whatever, And these guys got food in their hands. So these guys here, I think this one here on my right, the one with no shirt on, he turns back. I think the one with the Pantera shirt, he turns back. With these little guys, I mean, and you're going to see the crowd is going to get bigger. It's funny. The crowd is going to get bigger as they go. And then it's going to come down to like 3 little boys or something like that. It's kind of cute. But, oh my goodness. Like, but see, I don't think God bless these white men that, and then you wonder why, Filipino girls love white men more than black. You get some blacks come over there, and what I appreciate that you don't see a whole bunch of videos where blacks are going over there complaining about how they're being treated, because even if a girl doesn't like you, as a black man in the Philippines, she'll sit down and eat with you. She'll sit down with you, eat with you, let you talk to her. She'll even let you put you on her video and all like that. But she won't, the difference, because she doesn't want nobody thinking, that's the only thing. She don't want nobody thinking that you're her girlfriend unless y'all have that conversation and y'all say that's the way it's going to be. She don't want nobody thinking that just because she's in your video that she's your girlfriend. You know what I mean? And so me, I probably wouldn't put her in my video at all. But, except for maybe take a picture of her or something. But, these people, they're such sweet people. And there is a difference between the way they treat black guys versus how they treat white guys in general. It's not it's not racist treatment though. It's just they treat us based on stereotypes, and they treat us based on their assumptions that we're not going. They know that we're not big tippers. They know that we're not going to throw money at things. They know that, you know, they know, like Filipino women know things like, you're not going to tell me that I have to move to the Philippines and, you know, have kids and, you know, all this stuff. You know, you're not going to tell me that in order to be in a relationship with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not that generous. Where white men will say like, oh, you know, he'll do whatever for the pretty Filipino girl. He'll move to the Philippines, forget about his family, just move to the Philippines, stay there, retire there, you know, have kids with this woman and all like that. And even after she cheats on him and all that kind of stuff with some other, whatever, with a black dude or a Filipino dude or whatever, you know, he's still in the Philippines, and he'll go from her to another girl and have kids by her, and, you know, or whatever, you know, and he could be an old man, you know. It's just really weird. But, you know, I just think that I agree, like, with black folks on one thing. I'm not going to go there and let anybody tell me that I have to live there in order to be loved and be respected and have a traditional submissive wife. If I marry a woman, she's going to know up front, you're not going to be in the Philippines for the rest of your life, your whole life, every single day. You're never going to see the mainland. No, forget that crap. I move, you're going to move. Okay, I get sick, you're going to be where I'm at. I'm not going to get sick like Sunshine Shoulders just did. He had a problem with his son and left his wife over here in the Philippines. Now, I have to slap myself because his wife was busy raising his kids by herself. Sunshine Shoulders is over. I didn't know he had kids by this woman. So he's only been in the Philippines, I think, since 2019. He's got 3 kids by a woman, and they're both up in age. Like, his wife is she's got to be in her, like, late 40s, I think. You know, or whatever. But it's weird. It's weird. How he's got kids at his old age and that. And so I'm thinking, yeah, you're over here in America, you know, lying about your money and everything. And your wife's over there, you know, cheating on you because she don't never want to be in the camera with him. See? Now, today, they took the kids to the pool. But on her birthday, he was celebrating her birthday just the other day when he got home from the Philippines. He wanted to get home in time for her birthday. So he got back to the Philippines in time for her birthday. And again, here's that thing where, you know, these Filipinos, these women, when it comes to the white guy, they don't mind being all up in the camera with him. Even if he's an old, fat, pot-belly dude that look like he about to fall over and have a stroke, they don't mind being in the camera with him. But when it comes to the black dude, it's like, baby, why are you walking in front of me? Why are you walking in back of me? Like, come over here in the camera. I thought we were doing this together. You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing is, and if Sunshine Shoulders does it too, how come everybody that goes to the Philippines, how come every time they go there, it's all about social media? How come the Filipinos ain't going around there recording everything? When I go on my walks, I record myself. When I go out here in my own neighborhood, I walk, I talk, and walk and record myself doing my videos while I'm walking and talking. I'll be doing that this week because I'm not going to be using my laptop for a while. So when I go out here and walk, I'm going to start walking and getting some exercise as it gets warmer out there. I'm going to be, you know, and I'm home in my home neighborhood, and I'm going to walk and talk and make videos while I'm walking and talking in my own neighborhood. But I I would never go to somebody else's country, and every day of my life I'm sitting in front of you making a video, and you're behind me in my video. You didn't ask to be in my video. You're right behind me. You know, with hardly no clothes on, with your pot belly sticking out. Your woman looking all fine. She's in my video because, you know, I'm in the Philippines. I'm doing a video. I don't care who gets in my video by accident. But you're in my video whether you want to be or not. And I'm sitting there yelling at you about life, but yet you cannot tell me you're happy with your life when every day of your life is about social media. And that's the way everybody in the Philippines, if they touch a white man, or if they touch a Filipina, they become total social media. Okay? Now, when a guy breaks up with a Filipina, you're not going to see him do a lot of videos. Even if she's never in his videos anyway. He's still not going to do a lot of videos unless he has a girlfriend to talk about. So he's not going to do videos. And that goes for white guys as well as black guys. If they don't have a Filipina at home, they're going to slow down with the videos. But if they got a Filipina, even if they don't talk about the Filipina, they're going to be doing videos every day. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 videos a day. And I don't get that. Are you happy? Are you happy being there? Why do you need to have this like portal to the other side of the world to where you come from? If you're you must feel lonely. You need to. And then I caught Sunshine Shoulders trying to figure out like who in America is watching his channel and who in the Philippines is watching his channel when he's in America. Okay? And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, okay? Like, dude, love your wife. You're back home now. I can understand, you know. And then when he went to America, he just like, to me, it would have been a break from social media for me for a while. But no, he had to go to America. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get back there on time or not. And he's like constantly making videos every day, walking around the projects. He's in the projects. He's in the projects, mind you, walking around, talking about yelling at people because they ain't trying to retire and move to the Philippines. He's walking around his daughter's projects, getting on our case because we ain't ready to retire and move to the Philippines. And the boy that he said he had to go to the Philippines for, where was he at? He was nowhere in these videos. He just went there and stayed with his daughter for a while, had a meet and greet and came home. You know, and it just, I don't understand, according to video coverage, why he went home. And I was judging him because I didn't know him and his wife had kids together. I thought, you know, at his age, he had a younger Filipina. And, you know, and I'm thinking, she's cheating on you, man. This is her time to get her some young, you know. But then he gets back and I realize, wait a minute, are those her kids or those are their kids? Oh. So when he went home to America, he got kids at home in the Philippines. And yes, if you got kids in the Philippines, you probably want to raise them in the Philippines and let them make up their mind. I got to admit, if I got a girl pregnant in the Philippines, I'd want these kids hanging around. I'd want my kids hanging out with these kids right here than to be hanging out with these, you know, these political leftist kids we got here in the States that are always, you know, playing the race card and all like that. Let them grow up with a bunch of Asian boys and they can't play the race card. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't grow up to be, you know, but if they got a black dad and you take them home to America, then the fact that he's black, has 1 ounce of black in him, that's going to haunt him for the rest of his life. Whether it's because of white folks that don't want him to succeed, or whether it's because of black folks that don't want him to succeed. Okay, that's just the way it is. But anyway, let me get to the joy here.
Hey, we'll come back and bring you all a McDo. That way? Can we go through here? Is it Jollibee? What do you want? No? Oh no. Our group is growing larger. We can't afford this membership. Let's go.
They thought them little girls was gonna go with them.
Can we get through the street? Yeah.
Now, see what I like here is you see this man like wondering what's going on, and then you see this lady up here, and I think the little girls wanted to go with them. But see, that's what I like. One of the things I like about their culture, you don't have to like go out of your way to instill this into the kids. Somehow it's instilled in them. You know, the girls separate. That's one of the reasons why they make good wives. You know, as they get older, because they separate themselves from the boys while they're young, and they're doing their own thing. And you know, you don't see girls, you know, just playing with boys and boys playing with girls, and you know what I'm saying? Like here, you know, like here in America, we got a lot of tomboys. I got tomboys in my family tree, you know what I'm saying? And we used to wrestle and fight and you know, do MMA with each other, and you know what I'm saying? And some of them were always with the boys. They was never with the girls, and vice versa. We got boys that's always with the girls. They ain't never with the guys. You know what I'm saying? And you wonder how is there lady boys in the Philippines because of the way these kids are raised. Where'd the lady boys come from? Did they come from another part of Asia and move to the Philippines? Or how's it happen? Because you don't see it in their culture as they grow up. Like, you can pretty much tell somebody's going to be gay in American culture by the way they're being brought up, or by the way they're being influenced as they're coming up. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, they got their eyes on these kids. But these kids, man, they got free room to reign. Like, I mean, I would have been a happy kid if I was allowed to run around like these kids and let some total stranger treat me at McDonald's. I think I'd be a more happier kid when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
Turn to the right. Okay. Sounds good. Hi. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Oh, the little girls did go.
It's Tri-Fate. That's our name. Yes. Yeah.
What is your name? Tala.
Sorry? One more time.
Tala is the hair.
Taylor.
Yeah, it's water.
If we go to the right, we'll go to the street, right?
Where's your Where's your Tala? Dekat Taliwan.
Where do you want to go ba? To the street. We're just gonna walk through here to the street.
Then.
Yeah? Okay. Alright, so just to the right?
Okay.
It's a cool bridge. Wow, look at that.
Wow, look at that.
Oh man, we got
People got their homes right on the
down to the right? Okay.
right on the water like that.
Huh? Oh no. Alright. Oh man, look at this. We got the whole group of kids. All the kids are coming with us.
One thing I gotta say about these, and two things I gotta say. Number one, especially with these white Americans or white Western guys going over there to the Philippines, whether they got an accent or whether they're straight up Americans, okay? They love when white skin comes over there and goes to their little rundown neighborhoods and stuff. And look, you got a lady cooking outside, you know, probably cooking for her husband and her daughter or something. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they look around you. Like, one thing about these people is, like I said before, they can duct tape anything. The neighborhood lives on duct tape. Like, they just have this way of life where they can constantly make work whatever works and smile about it. And they just love to be visited by people that have it better than them. You know what I mean? And yes, a lot of times it's because there's some money in it for them, or at least they get to eat at McDonald's, you know, if nowhere else, okay? And then, you know, like, if you notice here, like all the posterings and posters on walls and the graffiti on the walls and all like that. Here in America, if I see graffiti on the wall, I know that this is a rundown neighborhood. There's probably a lot of crime. But out here, you see graffiti on the walls, that just means there's a lot of small kids, a lot of young kids nearby. It does not mean that there's crime just because you see graffiti. Here in Pennsylvania, you see graffiti, okay, all over the walls. That's a sign that there's also gangs and crime and stuff like that. But not out here, as you see what we have. Who's doing the graffiti? These guys, these little guys. Okay, they got to be like middle school and under. Okay. Not only that, the way these people live their lives every day, and the kids are allowed to be kids while mom and dad work so hard to keep the neighborhoods together. And when I say neighborhoods together, I mean these little back alleys. I mean, there used to be neighborhoods like this, you know, past the 60s here in America. If you go look at some footage, you'll find out that we used to live like this a long time ago, when we appreciated America better. We lived under the bridge like this. We lived in these little alleyways now. Now, you open up an alleyway door to the alleyway, you just open up the door and wave at your neighbor who what? Owns a business like yours right across the alleyway. You don't live back there. That's all stores back there. And you're putting your trash back there. Okay? The only people that are back there are the homeless people that are trespassing, of course. Okay? They're not living there. They're trespassing there. And they're about to be arrested or escorted off. And they're hanging out by your dumpster and behind your dumpster and that. You know, you might have a raccoon or something out there, you know, or something. But here, this is a village. What we call an alleyway here in America is a village, is a neighborhood for these people. What we call an alleyway, where we dump our trash in dumpsters, and even where we dump our trash in dumpsters are not quite this beat up, not quite this old looking, and just clothes hanging, you know, pieces of ceiling hanging down and all like that, you know. There's even more room for us to dump our trash than there is for these people to live. It's amazing. Look at the smile on this kid's face. Like, this is their life. They're happy. And white people look at neighborhoods like this out here in the States, and they say, I ain't going over there. You get shot, you go over there. I don't even know, where is this neighborhood at? I ain't going in that alleyway. What's in that alleyway? I ain't going there. No. Okay? But here, they're great. This is what they love to do. My black behind don't want to see this every day while I'm on vacation in the Philippines. Okay? But this is what these white boys love to do. I commend them for, you know, having a heart and a burden for these people. you know, and their kids, and you know what I'm saying? But here in America, we don't treat impoverished people like this. We don't just say, oh well, we got the kids following us. No, we'd be like, hey, where's your mama? Well, you better go find her, boy. You got money to feed? I ain't got no money to feed these kids. Whose kids are these? These kids ain't going with us. Turn around, boy. You better go find your mama. Yeah, that's the way we are here in America. But see, I would be so hurt if I had to talk to these kids like that, tell them to go home to their mama, because like they're not these baby kids that we got over here in America. Even the Asian kids over here in America aren't as well behaved and as smart as these kids. They're not as courteous as these kids. And after them, you'll see, they'll say, man, if it wasn't for the kids, we wouldn't have known. We'd have got lost in that maze. So the least they could have done was take these kids out to McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy how, like, you know, half of them decided they knew their jurisdiction, so they stopped and they switched as they went through different areas. And these kids are smart, you know, and, you know, I mean, you know, sometimes you got to get out and see what else is going on in the world. Get out of black America. Get out of white America. Get out of, you know, sometimes you got to go and see how the other half lives, okay?
Our vlog is Tri-Fate. My name is Tyler, and he's Isaac. What's your name?
Paolo.
Paolo? Oh, we're losing our... Hi. Oh, the dog's taking a nice poop right in the middle of the street. Watch out for the poop.
Wow.
Oh, but he's not...
Wow.
Where'd our guide go? Did he go left or right? Has to go right. Wow, this is quite the adventure here. Hopefully our
Okay, so you see,
group of children don't get lost.
there was a little girl. The little girls were with him.
Has he even looked back? I don't think so. I don't even know if we're supposed to follow him.
The little girls turned back.
Yeah.
They had little girls following them too.
It's called Try.
Oh, look at the baby.
Yeah, all right.
I follow you.
Okay, thank you. Hey. Are these kids supposed to be in here? Everybody was like, don't go in there. And now these kids are just following us through here. Wow, this is quite the adventure back here. Hi. Hi.
Oh my God, they get crazier with some white men, boy. Oh my goodness.
This way? Okay. Thank you. See ya. Alright. They're still here. Whoa! Rocco!
Dog joined them.
They're used to it, I'm sure. Oh, the McDonald's.
He's like, I know exactly where they're going. They're going to McDonald's.
This is the greatest adventure to McDonald's of all time.
Heck yeah, man.
Oh. Well, not very fresh here. Yeah, we got some trees and stuff. Huh? Good. Good. Did we make it? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, nice to meet you guys. You're very helpful. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know.
Sa McDonald's.
What?
McDonald's.
Now watch this.
Yeah, up here?
Watch
Almost there?
this.
Where some of them are still here? I thought we were... Oh, we're still going. McDonald's continues. Oh man, we've left these kids far out here. Do you guys know how to get home? Wow, we really went through that area. We would not have known how to get out of there. No. We would have been stuck in the grass. I can't believe we actually just found the bridge. Yeah, well, our directional skills are amazing. I wonder how much farther it is. I don't know. It said like straight and then right. Hi. Ooh. There it is. Oh, we see the sign. McDonald's.
Wow. Look at that exotic neighborhood, man.
What has happened? I don't know. Our journey through the back streets. I guess I'll always attract the kids. This isn't a free video anymore. We're gonna have to buy them all. We'll buy we can buy some like BFF fries or something. Let's see if they make it. They're like trailing behind slowly but surely, but they're still following. The super helpful kid left. What? The one who didn't have his shirt on. He just backed out. It seems like he didn't even want it. Did he go back alone? It's very interesting.
This is one of them places in the world. Like here in America, we all hate when certain people walk through our neighborhood that we don't know. And we know you don't live here, and you just walking. But you don't live here. You know, that bothers us. Especially, it bothers a lot of white people when you walk through their neighborhood and you don't live there. Okay? They don't like that. But they don't mind doing it when they go overseas. But I gotta admit, though, when they move to the Philippines, they know that the rules are going to change, and they know people are going to walk. Unless they live way out in the province, people are just going to walk right on their property, pull up, park somewhere on their property to walk down to the street because there ain't no parking, or, or whatever, and there might be somebody parked out in front of their house, and, but you can't do that here in America. You know what I'm saying? You might come outside your house and say, nice car. Whose is it? Call the tow truck here in America. But out there, means nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's life. Somebody parked out in front of your house because you live in the city. Someone can park in front of your house, and you may not be able to park in front of your house. No one's going to get mad. I'll park around the corner, or I'll park over at the neighbor's house. Then the neighbor can't park. They got to find somewhere else to park. You know what I'm saying? But they have rules. They have good security and police out there. And speaking of, we got to get to my part. But watch this girl. Watch this girl turn around and look at these guys. When I talk about the white gods coming to the Philippines, just watch.
Yeah. Well, we're going to cross that bridge, and then people became very concerned going into the squatter area. So the squatter area, the people in the squatter area don't go across that bridge? It is.
Oh, okay. They're trying to...
USA. America.
Look at her.
Yeah. No. What happened? What do you mean? Alright.
Yeah, they were checking her out too.
Hey. Welcome to my mom.
They were checking her out too.
Oh, not enough, sorry. Only English. We're lame. Oh no!
Another thing about these neighborhoods in like the Philippines is like, these are the only places where you go and you see a dog and you're not scared. Like, I see a boxer or a pit bull or something, you know what I mean? You realize that he's running loose because people out here, they don't tie their dogs up. Their dogs are free to roam off the property and all like that. You got dogs that belong to the neighborhood, and then you got your own dog that is trained. People out here have their own pets that they train their pets to protect them and stay in the house and stay behind the fence and not associate with other dogs and all like that. But you got dogs in the neighborhood that, like these kids, they could be any kind of dog, and they're all the same. They never These dogs never fight with each other. They never attack people. They never attack other animals. They just follow you. They just follow you wherever you go. And, you know, if you feed them, you got a friend for life. But because you're never going to put that dog on a leash or, you know, make that dog stay with you at any given time, somebody else is going to come up and feed them too. Okay, it's a dog of the neighborhood. Most of the dogs you see in these parts of the world are dogs of the neighborhood. They're like, you know, they're dogs and cats of the neighborhood. Everybody, you know, the dog looks out for everybody. And he see, oh, we got a new one in the neighborhood. And he's following you around like these kids. You know, he's just copying off the kids and following you around, you know. It's amazing. But, you know, you can get used to this because you can get used to this. And it's weird because the dogs that are just roaming the streets never bark. It's the dogs that are actually pets that are barking all the time. Because why? You're barking. The reason why they're barking is because there's more dogs roaming the streets than there is on leashes in homes. Okay? And so you got dogs that are like actual pets barking all the time. And what are they barking at? They're barking at all the dogs roaming that are out there free to roam as they please. You know, you're in the house and your dog's in the house. Okay? And there's another dog outside the house, you know, taking a nap up under your car or whatever. You know what I mean? And like me, my neighbor's dog used to go and crawl up under my car and go to sleep. Okay? I used to call off work. I was afraid, you know, because when I go past his house, he comes running to the fence like he wants to bite me. So there, when I seen that they left the gate open, and he wasn't on a leash, and he went and was barking, then turned around and crawled up under my car and was taking a nap, I was like, hey, boss, I'm sick. I don't think I'm going to make it into work today. You know what I mean? And I tried to call off work, and then all of a sudden, his mama came out there and, get in here, you know. And I hurried up and grabbed my stuff and got in the car and drove to work before another dog got up under my car, you know. But, I mean, you know, this is a total different reality than what we have here in America. Like in America, you know what I mean? A loose dog is a red flag. But here in the Philippines, they're all over the place. Okay? And what's nasty is that, you know, unless you feed these dogs and turn these dogs into pets, sometimes they can be the nastiest things. They can be the nastiest roadkill that roams around your complex or your neighborhood or whatever, because nobody takes care of them. They just, you know. And all the neighbors, you got dogs have to be like bathed and you know, they have to be fed food that's made for dogs, not just scrap that's left around garbage cans and stuff like that. And you know, but most of these people don't buy pets. They just take one they found off the street. And they say, you know what, I really like this dog. And a lot of foreigners do that. They take a dog right off the street and they train them, if they know how to do that. And they bathe them and they pay money to go take them to the ranch and get them shots or whatever and make them their dog. Like you can go to the Philippines and actually get a free dog. Just take one off the street. It's amazing. It really is, you know. But wait, you saw how that girl turned around and looked at them And she didn't just look at the kids and the fact that the kids were following them. She was checking them out. And they made the camera. The one brother put the camera so they could see her walking by. You know, I caught that, you know. And that's probably why she turned around and looked, because she knew that, oh, he's purposely filming her, you know. But I tell you, I envy these white guys when it comes to these Asian girls, man. They pick these Asian girls up like they pick the dogs that pick up the dogs that roam the street. Man, you got a new girlfriend? What happened to the one you had last week? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know. I envy them in a way.
Hi again. McDonald's? Let's go. Oh my god. Fries. Do they night nuggies? I don't know. What is good at McDo? What's good at McDo? What? Wow, McDonald's. We made it. With our posse. We have a posse of children. We made it! Yay! Where's our boy Paulo? Well, what happened to Paulo? Watch out for the street.
See, this is why, if I was to go, this is why when I start traveling, I'm going to want to be able to drive in these places, because that's my favorite thing to do wherever I go. Even here in my own state, I rent cars and go to distant lands and check out your neighborhood. Even in my own state, check out your neighborhood, your culture in your neighborhood and all like that. I don't walk. People don't like you walking through their neighborhood. Okay, but you drive through their neighborhood. What are they gonna do? You know, out there, people love when you walk through their neighborhood, especially if you're a young white man or an old white man as well. They like when you walk through their neighborhood. To them, it makes them feel like God is visiting them or something. Okay, I don't think black folks get the same treatment. They start wondering like, hey, what's up, brother? You lost? You know where you at? Okay. Can I help you with something? You know. But when you like, hey, I'm just walking. I'm recording y'all. Oh, hey, what's your channel name, man? So yeah, I don't know if black folks is gonna get that same kind of treatment. Sure, you're going to the Philippines like all these white guys. You're getting a Filipina and all like that. I don't know if you're gonna get as many Filipinas as they get. And I don't know if you're going to be treated like this, because, number one, you ain't going to do this. You ain't going to go through the neighborhood and like this and feed their kids. And if you do go through their neighborhood, I don't think they would treat you the same way. I just don't. That's just me. That's just me. Because even here in America, it's the same thing. Like Asian women. Like here in America, at least, if you go to the continent of Asia, an Asian girl might marry you or sleep with you. But here in America, all the Asian women are married to white men. They don't even marry their own men. They're all, if they got a man, if they got good jobs, if they got college, if they got degrees, if they got money, they're married to a white man. Or if they came over here with nothing, they're married to a white man. They're not married. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then, I've been to Bible studies in my church where, and it's sad because I've been to Bible studies and stuff where there's a pretty Asian girl, at the Bible study, and she act like, I don't know. There was a video on here where this really fine Asian girl did a video saying that the reason why Asians don't date black men is because black men and Asians are too much alike. That made me feel a little bit better. Okay? The reason why less Asian girls hook up with black men because they see blacks and Asians having too much in common. That's why they don't hook up with black men. That, since you put it like that, that's not so bad. Because I tell you what, I've been around Asian women in churches and that where I'm a minority. These Asian people are minorities, okay? But the Asian girl married a white dude, and she the only Asian in the church. And we go to Bible study, she got to sit next to me or whatever. And she just acting funny, you know what I mean? Like, she thinks that I'm going to sit there and stare at her all night. No, I'm here for Jesus. I have a Bible in my lap, just like you got a Bible in your lap. Why are you acting creepy? Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't come here because I even like Asian women. See, when I go over there to the Philippines, I can understand you assuming that. But how do you know I'm not content with sisters? I didn't come to this white Bible study to hook up with an Asian woman, okay? I don't see you, sweetheart, as white. I see you as Asian. If I came here because I wanted some white cooch, I go after the white girl, okay? Now, I find Asian women more attractive than white women, but I don't go around every day of my life and I hate when women act like, if you ain't white, you must be there for them. But yet, you know what I'm saying? Okay, and I'm thinking, okay, you're putting on a show, you're acting creepy, and you're making me feel creepy. How many men are here that am I the only one here that you wouldn't date? Am I the only one here that you feel uncomfortable with? There's a whole bunch of men here. And the ones that got wives are the ones that talk to you the most. I think that's creepy. I know any woman I'm married to wouldn't want me up in some woman's face the whole time we're having Bible study and bothering her and serving her and all like that. You know what I mean? Even if it is his house. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've never understood that. I just never understood that. But anyway, this is the end of this one. Then we're going to go to the Filipina P.
Oh yeah, salvation.
This is my part right here. You're gonna see why this is my part.
I McDonald's.
You want French fries, chicken? What do you want?
Chicken.
Chicken? Chicken nuggets or chicken?
Chicken.
Chicken? 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the other guy though? Hello?
They got 1, 2, 3. They got 5 kids. 4 kids.
There's that kid. He fell off. Okay, how many got? We got 5 of them.
We got 5 kids.
You want chicken? Burger steak? Or you want McFlurry?
This is my part right here.
Okay. Alright, so I guess we'll just
This is my part right here.
Something. What do you want?
Okay, we have a security guard, or police officer, or whichever one that is, behind the counter. Black folks. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Y'all know good and well. I just got done watching a video. I just got done watching a video about the Hodge twins, where this black girl went into a McDonald's with her son, and her son was like their age. And her son's holding on to her like, love you, mommy, while she's ransacking the place over her order because they didn't have something that she wanted, or they got her order wrong, whichever one it was. And she said, I've been coming here all this time, and you what? And then, again, like the manager was black. And that just made it worse. And it's like, oh my goodness. I mean, she ransacked the place. And they didn't show whether or not the police met her in the parking lot or not. The video ended before she met up with the police. But oh my God. But this is amazing how, they, and then, the lady comes over and she, like me, I know how to go into McDonald's and order and all like that. But the lady comes in there. And she's going to come over there, and the cop is actually basically, I don't know, he seems like he works there. He seems like his job is to be behind the counter. Look at that. And a cute girl's going to come over there and help. And the cop is very courteous. He speaks to him and stuff like that. The cop told her to go out there and help him. He said, you might want to go help. There's a white man being ganged up by a bunch of Filipino kids. Now, good and well, you wouldn't be treating them kids that nice if he wasn't there. Come on now. Where's the other brother at? Yeah, that cop. Oh, there he is. Now there he is. Okay. Yeah, that cop works there. Or he either works there or he works right outside somewhere. He might have a wife or a girlfriend that works in there. Who knows? But I just thought that was totally funny. The way we walked in and he's right there. And I'm thinking, ain't no black folks going to come in there and be ransacking that place. Then again, Russian dude came to the Philippines and he did everything. He did everything except rape the women. Okay, we're done with this video. We're going to go to Filipina P. But, yeah, like y'all heard the story if y'all been watching the Philippines videos like wait a minute. There's more kids here than I thought. Where'd he come from? The one way in the back. He must have just, showed up at the end there. He come right off the main street. Like, wow, okay. So you got 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, it's still 5 kids. Did he get them all in the video? I think he got them all in the video. But, okay. God bless these guys' heart. The Russian guy went to the Philippines. He's in a Philippine jail now. He went to the Philippines, stole a officer's bike, stole an officer's hat, rolled up on some man's wife or girlfriend or whatever and scared the living majeezies out of her. Okay? And he snapped on somebody at a restaurant. He was just a problem. And a politician that looked like he knew wushu or something. He was built like a movie star. He decided to, I guess he owns property, or he's one of the politicians that put that place together. And somebody went to him. They emailed him. That's all it took. They emailed a politician, and the politician had them go and arrest this dude and take him to court. They were going to say, well, he's leaving. He's getting ready to leave in so many days. His visa's up. He's leaving. His plane ticket says that so we're just going to let it go. He was like, no. and they brought the man to court, and the man was like, they arrested him at the airport. They arrested him, and they arrested him and put him in a Filipino jail. And there's people, other foreigners, making videos about his butt being in jail. Serves him right, But anyway, let's go to my darling, the juicy, spicy Filipina P. And let's close with this. We'll close with her. Where are we at here? Here we go. There she is. So right off the top, she decided to go fishing in this video. This is one of her better videos. No sexual ando. No talking about things that she shouldn't be talking about. Okay, no lies, she just, a lot of honesty in this one. It's funny though, her, I'm not going to show it, but she did catch a catfish, a big one too, and put him back in the water. I don't know, I might show that. I don't know. I might show that. I don't know if I want to show that or not. I'm not going to show all of it. I think I have to do the catfish. I got to show when she caught the catfish. I might have to show that. But I know she has her reasons why. One thing I'll say about her is I understand why she has her reasons why she looks like an angel. I know she has her reasons why she doesn't want to really talk about her boyfriend or whatever. It may be his choice, or it might be her choice, or it might be that she's lying. I don't know which it is. I just wish she would, because she doesn't have to. And to me, this is very worldly and very, very, very prostitutish on her part, for her to sell her desire to get married and have kids and settle down. Like, who doesn't want to settle down with her? I mean, I gotta admit, so many men want to settle down with her. She probably gets 100 emails a day of men that want to settle down with her. But she, of course, she, and now that she's a celebrity, basically, now it's like, what man is going to be worthy to marry the princess? You know what I'm saying? Like, what foreigner, okay, if you're the kind of guy that watches her channel and thinks that she's a knockout and thinks she's extremely pretty, and, you watch her content and you give a crap about her, you're probably not qualified. You're probably not the kind of guy she's looking for. Okay? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't be her. I could never be her boyfriend. I would probably, if I was her boyfriend, we break up over the weekend, because I wouldn't let nobody get near her. I mean, I would be so jealous all the time. Like, who's that guy you was over there talking to? Why is he? Well, so y'all need to talk to each other that long? What do you want to talk about? Yo, my man, come here. What you need to talk to my girl about? I would be jealous all the time. I I don't know, just I don't know. She makes me feel insecure. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then like every time she gets on a channel and says certain things, like the videos that are supposed to be more comedy and videos talking about sex and what Filipina is like and all like that. Oh, so that's what you like in bed? And you didn't feel you needed to discuss that with me first? Like, what's going on? You know? But yeah. Oh, so now you're so now we're Catholic now. Really? You know? But I'll get to the catfish part and then I will skip it and go to the end and let her talk a little bit. She said some really nice things at the end. And I gotta admit, it must be the camera, because if I know a lot of men, or it might be the South, maybe in the South, because she never comes over here to North. She ain't never been to New York. She's been to New York, but she ain't never been to New York City. She ain't never been to Pennsylvania. She ain't never been to Ohio, Washington, D.C., West Virginia. She ain't never been up here where I'm at. Okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of stuff that she says, she wouldn't say it if she came up here. Because we're just like the Philippines up here. Okay? We have everybody mixed in together, bumping into each other. You know what I mean? We have neighborhoods that are very, very extremely low on taxes. We got these mom and pop stores in some of these neighborhoods where you can just buy stuff for really cheap. We got, you know what I'm saying? We got dogs barking like crazy all night long. We got hot Filipinas up here where I'm from. We got some hot Filipinas up here that if she came up here where I'm at, she would be like, who are you? Like, you know, because we got some hot ones up here, you know. They're all married to white men, of course. But, you know, they're there. They exist. It's not like you see them everywhere like you do in our country, obviously, but they're here. And sometimes, you know, you can tell they're married to white men just by where they show up at, because they show up in places where there's nothing there for them. There's no, how did you get here? You had to live somewhere else before you came to this part of the state. You had to leave the city and come here. So, we know you're married to a white man. You know. Last time I talked to a beautiful Filipina, I said, which one of these white men is your husband? She says, oh, how'd you know my husband was white? I'm like, hello? Okay. Well, my husband does this, he does that, he does this. She couldn't really explain what he did, but when she gets to the catfish, I'll let you see that part. And then, we'll skip it to the end and let her talk. But she is spicy. I tell you what, she is the Philippines. She is the Philippines, you know. And I mean, she should be with a white dude, but not just any white dude. You know, based on her education, because she's got a lot of training, and she got it. She got it. Look at that. She got it. The last time I went fishing, look at that big. That's a big catfish. That's a nice size. I can't can't believe she threw him back in the water after making him suffer like that. She put him back in. Here. Oh, okay, Mr. Fishy.
Oh my gosh, this is my very first catfish too. Do you eat catfish here? I'm not sure. I think you can eat catfish. I think so. Okay. I'm not sure how to cook catfish here. We do have catfish in the Philippines, but I'm gonna hang on, Mr. Fishy. I'm gonna save you.
Hang on, Mr. Fishy.
I'm gonna take off the hook and I'm gonna return you back to your wife, to your family where you belong. Okay, got it. Okay, there you go, buddy. Go, go, go. Okay, now he's going back. Alright, so I got my line back in the water. So, where were we?
So, when she comes over here to the States, what was I saying? I was saying, you know, I can understand her wanting to be with a white man. Now, I don't even know. She maybe that's one of the reasons why she doesn't talk about it. But I'm assuming, because she did say something about she has nothing but white friends. Even in the Philippines, all her friends are white or something like that. She did say something on those lines. And she did say something about because of her education and her travels and all like that, she has all these connections with white people and all this kind of stuff. So I'm just assuming that her 50-some-year-old boyfriend, if she still has a 50-some-year-old boyfriend, is a white man. But she does more giggling and blushing with the younger guys. Obviously, if you watch her videos, when she does these videos where she travels and stuff, all her giggling and laughing and blushing is with these younger guys. Some of them are younger than what she is. Okay? So, you know, why does he have to be a 50-some-year-old somebody when you obviously like guys that are like 30 and under? Why does he have to be 50-some years old? You know what I mean? But that's the culture. That's what they do. That's what these Filipinos do. They flirt and blush and giggle and get tickled by the younger, more handsomer guys. But they got to have the old guy that looks like he needs a hospice nurse. They got to be married to him. You know? This is one of them things where the Philippines is different than America. In America, you know what I'm saying, if an old man is with a young girl, a lot of young girls want that same old man. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say Denzel Washington right now was, you know, him and his wealth and the fact that he's done all these movies, okay? You know, or let's say Brad Pitt or, you know, even Tom Cruise right now. They're much older now than they used to be. They don't look as young and vibrant like they used to be. But trust me, the women don't change. Any woman would be glad to marry one of these celebrities, okay? But, you know, they hook up, these Filipinas, they hook up with some of the most ugliest and most oldest, can barely walk straight, old men that not only act old and look old, but are old, health-wise, you know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And then they say stuff like, you know, having sex more than once a week is too much. What? What? No, if you can tell me to my face that we're going to have sex once a week, I have to make an appointment with you to have sex, you need to go get you a mandingo, sweetheart. You need to go get a man that makes you want to have sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't hang around. You know, I'm not it, obviously. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's what these Filipinos are saying. They're hooking up with these old men, but they got these rules for these old men. These old men ain't allowed to be up in their face like young men. These old men ain't allowed to say, hey, where you going? You know, like why are you know like you watch any of their channels? These guys all got Filipinas, black, white, old men, especially these old guys. Now the younger guys, you see them with their Filipinas, especially the white guys. You see them with their Filipinas. Okay, like if they're like under 50 and under, you see them with their Filipinas. But if they're like 50 and over, you don't see them with their Filipinas. It's like either she's doing a video or he's doing a video. You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy. You know, I'm going to let her talk. This video ain't long. I'm going to stop it right here. Shut my mouth and let her talk.
Milk, low-fat milk, almond milk, soy milk, and you gotta figure out which brand you want. Borden's or Lactaid for the same-day delivery. That's ridiculous! You don't have to go to a store to buy something. You just have it delivered in your the screen to place your order. When it was time to pay, you just stuck your card in there and it even popped out a receipt. It's pretty neat. Everything's fast and easy here. No delayed gratification. Places like Amazon deliver your order within 24 hours. And I even got one, I think, for the same day delivery. That's ridiculous! You don't have to go to a store to buy something. You just have it delivered in your, in your door. The speed of life is incredibly fast, and it feels like I just slipped about 50 years into the future. And there's so many different options to choose from, really. You can't just go to the store to pick up some milk. You gotta decide what kind of milk you wanted to buy. There's whole milk, low-fat milk, almond milk, soy milk, and you gotta figure out which brand you want. Borden's or Lactaid, Fairlife. It really never ends. So I went to the meat department at a Publix grocery store, and I ended up spending an hour in there just looking at all the different cuts of beef. I still can't tell you the difference between a porterhouse, a T-bone, or a ribeye. For me, they're all just steak. In fact, there's actually too many options here. Having choices is good.
If she is being honest, when she says that, then the person that she stays with when she comes over here to America is a woman. And they are saving money to make sure they get back to the Philippines, to get her back to the Philippines. Because any man in his right mind, if she says something like that, that's the first place he's going to take her. Hey, babe, I'm taking you out for a porterhouse. Now, back when I was married, me and my wife didn't go out that much. But I guarantee you, I remember taking her on Mother's Day to get a porterhouse steak at a hotel that we wasn't even staying at. And I was like, well, baby, since you enjoyed the porterhouse, maybe you want to get a room. And, no, we need to save our money. We can't do that. I said, okay. You're no fun, But, I took her out for a porterhouse steak. A number of times, and then a lot of times, when me and her would go out, she would just order a porterhouse. And I'd be like, that looks good. I'm having what she's having. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I gotta admit, a lot of white expats going into the Philippines will say that they miss the steak. Now, I don't eat a lot of red meat. I eat more lately. I've been eating ground chicken and ground turkey. And I eat, I eat pork loins. I love pork loins. They're like steak, but they're actually pork. But they taste like steak. You can dress them up like steak. They cook faster, easier. They're always juicy. They're never tough. I don't care what kind of steak you give me. I love me some pork loins, okay? I love pork loins. And they're the cheapest meat you can buy when it comes to pork. Ham is the most expensive, but pork loins, oh my goodness. And then even ham, every now and then I love me a good old slab of ham and have that for a week. I don't really eat a lot of pork either. I eat chicken, fish, and turkey. I don't eat a lot of red meat, and I don't eat a lot of pork either, but I eat it, And I tell you what, like if it's like my birthday, or if it's like a holiday or something like that, if it's Thanksgiving or something like that, I'll go right in there and grab me a porterhouse. Okay? It's a holiday, we're going to eat some red meat today, baby. But anyway, as she's closing, she's right about a lot of things. I left her a comment in here about she never comes out this way. And if she came out this way, a lot of stuff that she says about America, she would find out that that's only half America. She's on the other side of America. If she was to come here to the north, last time she was in New York City is only 6 hours away from me. If last time she came to New York City, she didn't go to the city, she just went to the airport in New York. Made a video about it. Okay, well that's not the city. Okay? If she went to the city, she says something in her videos where she'll say it here, where people here don't walk, they don't jog. Well, that's not true. When I go downtown Pittsburgh in broad daylight, you see everybody from 70 years old all the way to high school jogging, especially depending on what day it is. Jogging, walking, people everywhere. Okay? And even more so back in the day before downtown Pittsburgh started looking kind of ghetto. Okay? But, it's still, there's people coming here from Canada to go downtown Pittsburgh. I'm like, are you kidding me? There's people coming here from other countries and visiting Pittsburgh, and they're like, wow. I'm like, wow, what? Wow, what? There's nothing wow about it anymore. You should have been there back in the 80s. When downtown Pittsburgh was like Times Square. It was beautiful. Not no more. It looks more like the ghettos around. It looks more like Braddock or Braddock or Homestead or something. It doesn't look like downtown Pittsburgh anymore. But yet, we have the tallest buildings, in this part of Pennsylvania. So, people think it's something special. We got those tall, expensive hotels, the Doubletree is down there, the Wyndham, the Omni William Penn, the Lincoln, the Hilton, they're all down there. And they're tall buildings with several floors, And some of them top floors ain't nothing but garbage dumps. Even in the hotel that I recently worked at. The top 4 floors is a garbage dump. It's all under construction. People are, I want to go up there and see ghosts. No, you got a hard hat. You need to wear a hard hat. You're gonna go up there. You want to go up there and see ghosts? Get out of here. But and I'm not gonna be responsible for you falling through the floor. So the place is a dump. You know what I mean? A lot of money coming from the customers, and they can't fix the place. Okay. That's downtown Pittsburgh for you. All that money they make within a day, and they can't do something with those floors, make them less bad on our health and all that kind of stuff. I'm glad I don't work there no more, but she don't come out this way. And if she came out this way, she would hear everything she said she don't hear. It would feel more like the Philippines. Trust me. That's why people up here don't make a big deal about going to the Philippines, because we got plenty of dogs barking, running loose around here. We got plenty of people walking and bumping into each other, and noisy, and the busy traffic and the lights and all that stuff. We got plenty of bars and clubs and beautiful Filipinas. Not as many as you see in, but if you go out on a Saturday night, a lot of these Filipinas like to work the bars just like they do in the Philippines. Okay? Even when even here in Pittsburgh, there's a day every year here in Pittsburgh where they have all these Asians come in. I don't know where they're coming from, but you got enough Asian women here to kill us all. I mean, and they some cutie pies too, and they fill up. You have to give them a whole hotel to themselves, like just nothing but Asians. And I did a video about it. I did one on Facebook, and I did one on this channel, I think, if you go back a while. But, I mean, they just, and everybody was talking, I'd be walking down the street, and they'd be like, what's going on in there? I says, oh, we got special guests. And he's like, man, I feel like I'm in Japan or something. I'm like, yeah, wow, man, But they come here and they fill up a hotel all the way to the roof. Tons of them. And it's like, this is the only time where I don't get tired of standing. I remember last time they came, I was sitting down somewhere in a hallway because I was doing security there. And I got up to help a customer. And this beautiful, lovely Asian girl took my seat. And I turned around and I almost sat on her lap. And then I looked and said, oh. I looked where I was sitting and she just looked at me. And she blushed, and I was like, okay, that made my day. Asian girl blushing at my little behind, okay, keep the seat. She's like, I can move. I said, no, keep it. Keep it. And I just went and sat on the steps or whatever, but, anyway, I'm going to let her talk, but I can't wait. I can't wait to come to the Philippines. I hate to think that I know too much because I've been watching videos about this since 2019. And I've been watching her since 21. I think, matter of fact, no, I've been watching her since 2020. And no longer than that. Because wait a minute. I was watching her when I lived at my other place. Yeah, I started watching her on YouTube in 2008. Wait a minute, I moved here in 2018. So I've been watching her since 2017. 2017, I started watching her content, I think. I started watching her content in 2017. And for all these years that I've been watching her content, she still hasn't got married and settled down. And sometimes I wonder if she looks in the mirror and she says, what man is worthy of me? I mean, can you imagine there's going to be women that look more prettier than her in heaven? I want to go to heaven. I want to go to heaven. I want to go to heaven. Okay, when you tell me that the women in heaven look more prettier than this, I want to go to heaven. I really do. I want to go to heaven. But here in this life, she's totally out of my league. And not just because she's pretty, but she is taller than me. I thought she was short when I first watched her very first video. But she's actually almost 6 feet tall. From what she told. Well, no, she said she's about 5. No, I take that back. She's about 5'6". I'm 5'3.5". So she's taller than me. And I know she wouldn't be interested in that. All them Filipinas. Now, that's one thing they're honest about. They like tall white men. They like tall men, first of all. And if they're tall, like over 6 feet, that's moolah. Okay, that's just awesome. And if you're black, the least you could do is be tall. So ain't no way I stand a chance in the Philippines with my little short self. I think I would just wave at everybody hi, and they'd be like, "What is that, Mom? What is that?" I think that's Beetlejuice, honey. That might be Beetlejuice. Or maybe that's Danny DeVito trying to act like he's a black dude. I don't know, sweetheart. I don't know. But, I feel sorry for myself going to the Philippines. Because I know that I'm the kind of guy that could be there for 20 years and never been with a Filipina once. And when I say been with a Filipina, I mean married a Filipina or even went out on a date, on a second date with a Filipina. You know what I mean? Especially being I don't go to bars, I don't drink. I mean, I drink flavored beer, I drink wine, but I don't really drink. I don't drink, I don't go to clubs, I don't dance, I don't get in the techno rap, all that stuff. I don't get into that stuff. I'm the kind of guy that wants to meet a Filipina and take her to church. Take her to church with me. That's where I'd want to take a Filipina. Now, I bet you, as an American, if I start going to church in the Philippines, I bet you a lot of women would pay attention to me that way. And it would be about the Lord, and they would probably look over the fact that because of the Lord, they would look over the fact that I'm such a small guy in stature and all like that. They would look at the fact that, well, we're going to be a serious Christian marriage, so it really doesn't matter. We don't need him to be all these conditional things, being this is a serious Christian relationship. So we can put our flesh and our personal preferences behind us and focus on the Lord. Focus on the Lord. And that's the way I'm going to be when I go to the Philippines. I'm going to stick with the Lord. I'm going to look for God's people. I'm not going to be looking for her. I'm going to be looking for God's people. But I'm very curious as to what kind of life she lives outside of YouTube. Okay? But let me let her finish. I just wish she'd be honest. I'd really like to meet this mystery guy. It would really, really, really take me out of the equation. Really make me stop looking at her in a certain light if I could get just a glimpse of the man that she's with. If she's with him. Is she lying? I'd like to meet the guy. Is he black? Is he white? Is he 7 feet tall? Is he a movie star? She's had men on her show that she's taking pictures with that she looks so goddamn good with. And I realized that, and one guy she was with was the guy from Cheers. She said she wasn't with him. How did she get him to hug her? And she took a picture of it and posted it on one of her videos. And he's very extremely tall, and even in his old age, he's very handsome. And he's at that age. Me and him are around the same age. So, was she lying when she said that that's not him? And that might be the reason why she don't want to show us this mystery boyfriend. Because he is actually a movie star. And if he is a movie star, that answers everything.
Good, but you start to get paralyzed, especially for a woman. Having too many choices is a bad thing. And when it's the Filipino like myself, it's even worse. Because we have trouble making decisions in the first place. And guys, don't even get me started on all the different drugs you have. You can't watch more than 5 minutes of TV without seeing an ad for a drug that cures a disease you never heard of. They actually sell something to fight persistent sexual arousal syndrome. Isn't that the opposite of the little blue pill? Oh well, if you've got an A, cocaine, either real or imagined, they got a drug for it. And with everything here, it's clean, fast, modern, efficient, and full of options and opportunities. So, where's the catch? There's gotta be a catch, or so many of you wouldn't be leaving. Maybe you're tired of the rat race. Maybe you actually wanna have a slower pace of life, or maybe you just think the grass is greener.
Let me correct her right there. Some of us are leaving because we've always, in our culture, have left the state. Just like all the bosses that I've had that have retired. They've all left here from Pennsylvania. I got bosses that moved to Mexico. God forgive them. You know, after all Mexico's put us through with the migrant crisis and all that crap, God forgive anybody that still thinks that it's safe for them to go live in Mexico or retire in Mexico. But, you know, I hate, you know, after seeing how Mexicans treat America and they come in here illegally, you know, I have no respect for Mexico. Okay? Like, but anyway, I don't like Mexico. But I have bosses that have actually left here and moved to Mexico. Some have left here and moved to Florida. Florida, you know, I got a boss who already owns a house in Florida. Okay? And so I know where he's going to retire at when he retires. He's going to move to Florida. Now he has property here in Pennsylvania, but he has a house in Florida. Okay? He's a millionaire. Okay? I have bosses that move down to the Carolinas. Okay? Now, you move down to the Carolinas and you live in the province. Okay? To a lot of Filipinas that might marry a man from the Carolinas. That is very much like living in the province of the Philippines. Okay? Carolinas, you know, certain parts of Texas, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, even Louisiana, depending on where you live in Louisiana, it's, you know, it's an adventure, and it's a peaceful one, depending on where in Louisiana you live. Okay? And some people, they've traveled and they've learned these places and they know what they want to do. When they retire, it doesn't necessarily have to be the Philippines, because what she's getting ready to say, you're going to hear it, what she's getting ready to say is that she looks very, very, very Asian right here. The way I got this frozen, I mean, she really looks like an Asian chick right here. But anyway, she done went from looking Filipino to looking Chinese right here. Like, anyway, it doesn't have to be the Philippines. She's getting ready to say that in the end of this video, her last word was, if you can afford it. Well, some things, like, you'll never make the Philippines look like Hawaii. Anybody that can live in Hawaii peaceably, I would never discourage them from living that expensive life. It's not how expensive your living is, it's whether you'll get that money back or not. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's whether you'll ever get that money back. If the cost of living in Hawaii makes you lose your life savings, okay, then, okay. But if you have made business off of if you're making a business off of wealthy people, and wealthy people are paying their bills on time, then that money, no matter how much money you spend, it keeps coming back to you. And if you know how to budget in a beautiful place like Hawaii, you never run out of money. So it doesn't, Sunshine Shoulders and them, oh, well, it costs this much, and so, if you don't spend any money, you can live in the Philippines. Well, dude, that's no fun. Especially if you got a woman. Read your Bible, man. You don't have a woman and don't spend money. Women cost money. Which is probably why she's not married yet and having kids. She wants to make sure that the man that she marries, first of all, has enough money for her to forget about everything that she's doing and never have to work again in her life. He will die in her arms, and she'll live happily ever after and be able to go back to doing this in her old age and make more money on top of her retirement. Okay? That's the beauty of being with an older man. There's women here in the States that don't hook up with nothing but old men. And we know, everybody knows why. It's because every time one dies, she gets his pension, his retirement money, and all like that. And then she marries another one and she gets his. And the more men she puts to rest, the more richer she is. And I'm not saying all Filipino women are like that, but they do talk about this stuff. They do come out and say it. They get caught saying it, but they do say it, I'd hate to see her with an old fart and the young guy, and the young guy's just wanting to, you know what I'm saying? And he can barely keep up with her, but you got these young guys chasing her while she's with him. You know what I mean? That's something that I don't want. Like, I don't know. She has changed a little bit since 2019. She's more laid back with her videos and stuff like that since 2019. But is she old guy material though? Is all this beauty going to be given to an old man to make him feel like a king, or is she going to be doing what she's doing now all her life, making some old man, think that he's happy when he's not really happy? He's never been able to make love to her like he really wanted to make love to her. He's never been able to keep up with her. He's never been able to spend the money on her to make her feel like a princess. He's never been able to give her anything that a younger man that's making good money can give her. I don't want to be that guy. Okay? And it's women like her that make me want to be a rich man. It make me want to be Elon Musk. Women like her. Because I know that that's the only thing that's going to make a difference. If I'm not, especially when she's got money, she's made a fantastic career off of YouTube. And she has a job as well that she's making good money from. Okay, she's only doing YouTube twice a week. She has a job that she does too that she's making good money from. But she's able to travel when she wants to travel. She's able to put anything into these videos. She's put money into these videos. She's done what she's had to do, And she's given to the poor, and she's a good woman at one sense, but she's horrible eye candy at another sense. You know what I mean? And I'm just really curious about where she really stands in her personal life. Is she a big drinker? Does she go and drink all this off? You know, is she a drunk after she gets done doing these videos? Especially in the videos where she says certain stuff that kind of degrades her. Okay? Does she drink? Does she, you know, I know that when she first started, she was really, really claiming to be a Christian. And then she started talking against Christianity, like, keep religion out of it kind of thing, you know. And that was one of the reasons why I looked up to her. But, I mean, don't get me wrong, she's a doll baby, and I envy any guy that, you know, I'd like to know the guy that's been able to steal her heart. I'd really like to meet him. I really would. I want to know who he is. I want to know what he looks like. I want to see how tall he is. Is he white or black? I want to know. Unless she's lying. Or unless he's not faithful enough to her or settled down with her enough to let her expose him like that. I don't know what's going on. But I just hope she's just as happy in her personal life as she is in these videos. That's all I'm saying.
Foreigner somewhere else, like the Philippines. Or maybe it's all about the Benjamins. Most of you talk about how much cheaper it is to live in a place like, you know, like Southeast Asia, Thailand, Cambodia, the Philippines. But is that actually true? When you look at a side-by-side comparison of expenses, it might not really seem that much different, at first, at least. Yeah, rent's a lot cheaper in the Philippines, but look at all the things that aren't. One of your biggest budget items is going to be food, and it's actually more expensive in the Philippines.
I was never really interested in going to Asia until I started watching these Filipino videos. Because these Filipino videos, everything in the Philippines being written in English. I just got done watching this brother do a video in Thailand. Matter of fact, I forgot about him. Where's he at? And I want to say this about him. I'll take you up to the nail lady. I'm not going to put the sound on. I'm going to take you to the nail lady. Where's he at? How do Thai people treat black men? I forgot about him. Okay. He did something somewhere in here that I thought was ignorant. And I think it's one of the reasons why black people get stereotyped. I'll show you what he did. He did something in here that he shouldn't have did. You don't do that in another country. Okay? Yeah, in here. He did it in here. I don't know why this is running like this. Can we get there, please? Okay. Now I gotta find where he... Oh yeah, it's after this. It's after this. I'll show you. It's after this. He goes in here and he gets his nails done. And the only reason why he's getting his nails done is because he wants to flirt with the girl that's doing the nails. But I think she got a wedding ring on. Is it after this or before this? Now he got this girl to give. This girl approached him and said, "Yeah, I want your phone number. I want your, here she is." All right, we'll play this. what he does.
I want to clean my nails.
Oh, yes?
Yeah. It's okay? A little bit? Hello. Hello, ladies.
And watch the uncomfortable look on her face when she realizes what he's saying. He's in Thailand. This is Thailand.
Oh man, she got me blushing. She said, Black, you look handsome. Black, everybody like black. Everybody.
Everybody don't like black, dude.
Yeah. It's the same. Same. It's the same.
Watch the look on her face when she realizes what he's saying.
So Thailand like black.
Yes.
Okay. Why Thailand like black?
I don't know.
I think I know why. Want me to tell you why?
Species different.
Want me to tell you why? Want me to tell you why?
Why? I don't know.
Because black men, you know.
I think so. It's a species.
Black men. Black men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's trying to smile, but she don't think that's funny. You can tell.
Kundu di. Wow.
Okay, you can tell that she didn't think that was funny. And she looks like she dates white men. I'm going to tell you right now. She looks like she's either content with Thailandish men, or she is content with white men. Okay? But she's doing a job. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Now, I got to admit that he did get some phone numbers. I got to give him credit for that. He was able to just talk to some strange girls, and they were very pretty too, and he got their phone numbers. They said, hey, put me on your YouTube channel. Yeah, we'll go out, But why's it always got to be about the women? I think that now the women that he wasn't hitting on are checking him out more than ones he was actually hitting on. And that's always the case, though. That's always the case, even here in America. If I'm teasing with a girl, a lady, the ones that I'm not interested in, really, or the ones that I didn't get to yet, or the ones that are like blushing and acting silly or whatever about me, But he did get some phone numbers off a couple girls. The one girl that he got to take a walk with him, she was like a chubby, blonde-haired Asian girl. Kind of chubby. Looked like somebody's mama. And then the one girl in the restaurant, I think over here in this restaurant, she was excited to put him on her DMs or something, however that goes. But let me get back to my little crush. Let me get back to her. But let me get back to my little crush. But all I'm saying is, he didn't need to. Now the title of the video is, how do Thai people treat black men? But he didn't care about Thai people. He just cared about Thai women, how they treated him. And if he be honest, they treated him like they treat anybody. They were professional at what they were doing. They were treating him with customer service, where he's not going to walk out of there and say, oh, they treated me this way because I was black. Or, and customers go through this. We go through it here in America where people, I've been through it, where people try to get me in a conversation about race or something. And I'm like, what's this got to do with the job? And what's this got to do with what I'm selling? What's this got to do with your selling? What's going on, man? And, his wife is slapping him and saying, come on, let's go. Leave that young man alone. And I'm like, me and him was around the same age, sweetheart, but thank you for the compliment. But, why is he saying this stuff? Why is he asking me these dumb questions? You ain't never seen a black security guard before? Like, why are you asking me these weird questions? But I'm going to do customer service. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to try to act like you didn't just try to say something to offend me, because I'm a professional like that, okay? And that's what she was doing, okay? But back to my little crush here. Let me let her finish so I can get out of here. I know this video is long, so let me let her finish.
At first, at least. Yeah, rent's a lot cheaper in the Philippines, but look at all the things that aren't. One of your biggest budget items is gonna be food. And it's actually more expensive in the Philippines. I can cook my own fresh, healthy food in the US for less than back home. And even a lot of restaurants are cheaper here. So when I was running behind schedule and, like the other day, I decided to pick up a pizza at Little Caesars. I know, it's not really healthy. But I paid less than $10 for a stuffed crust pizza that was much better than anything I can get from Dumaguete. Electricity. Actually, my friend just showed me her electricity bill, and it's a lot cheaper than the Philippines as well. So, she's only paying half, really, for the usual electricity bill that I'm paying back home. And she's running all the appliances in her house, vacuum cleaners, an oven, a dishwasher, a clothes dryer. The price of a new car is about the same, but when it comes to a used car, they're less expensive right here in the US, and so is the gasoline to put in them. So why do they say the Philippines is so much more affordable? Well, it didn't take me long to figure it out. It's
like
not
I
what
said, she's a little more honest in this video. Now, all this stuff before she made these big blanket statements, well, if she's done more traveling to the U.S. because of her video channel, then she's learned the hard way and learned the simple way that you learn from it. We experience America just like we experience the Philippines. You come here, you learn the culture, you find out why we're so expensive and what that does for us. You know what I'm saying? We have choices because we're expensive. But when you're cheap, you have less choices, okay? And what is the number one talk among white people every day? Oh, yeah, I have this kind of roof. You got this kind of roof? Oh, man, I always wanted one of them. Oh, wow, yeah, you know what? I use an 8 millimeter. What's that? 79.9. I didn't know you could get them that size, man. Oh, man, oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I'm driving. I got the turbo engine. You know what I'm saying? You got a turbo engine on that particular model. Yeah, man. Oh, wow, man. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, this, the conversations that white people have with white people. You know what I'm saying? This is America. Okay? But us people that are always, you know what I'm saying, getting, we never buy a brand new car like myself. I never buy a brand new car. I've never had a brand new car. Okay? And I've never bought a brand new car with choices on how I want it set up. Okay? But I got friends that have, and I got friends that do. And, when they buy a brand new car, they don't just buy a brand new car. They get things done to it before they pick it up, And it's like, hello, America, God bless white people, If my black butt ain't, it just won't happen. It just ceases to happen. You know what I'm saying?
You buy, it's what you don't have to buy. It turns out that living in the US is much more expensive once you factor in all the crap you barely even have to worry about back in the Philippines, like health insurance, car insurance, home insurance, dental care, lawn care, hair care.
Does she say we don't have to worry about it here in America? Or she said we do? I didn't catch that, but I do know this. I got a friend that's from the Philippines, a brother from the Philippines. He's very old. He's right now living. Matter of fact, I got to email him. I got to go on my messenger on Facebook and contact him. He hates when I don't respond to his text, but he lives in the Philippines. He's another one that got me watching all these videos about the Philippines, because he lives in the Philippines, and he's like every single black guy that's ever went to the Philippines trying to get all these black people to go to the Philippines. But anyway, he's down there with his lovely wife, just like Sunshine Shoulders. They got kids together and all this kind of stuff. Plus her kids. He got a big house with a lot of people in it. And he got real sick. He had to come to America because his insurance doesn't cover anything in the Philippines. He's got insurance for being in the service or from his retirement or whatever. It works better. The doctors are cheaper in that here in the States. He still has his doctor in the States. He needed to come home to America to see about getting surgery. Okay, because it's too expensive in the Philippines. So I'm not sure what she said there, but he's not the only one. Plenty of people. Matter of fact, one of the guys, one of the white guys here that I like to watch, and he's a good friend of hers too, that I like to watch here in these Filipino videos. He said that his biggest fear is getting sick. He says he takes good care of his health, and his wife, his Filipino wife, helps him do that. But his biggest fear is getting sick in the Philippines and having to come to America, okay, and that screwing everything up with him and his visa and his retirement thing in the Philippines and all this kind of stuff, screwing everything up for him if he has to go to America and get surgery or anything like that. So he said he's really, really worried about that. That's his biggest worry, is that, you know, him having to come to America because of health reason and can't get back to the Philippines, you know, and leaving his wife to herself and all like that, long distance loving and all that kind of stuff. And again, I don't understand why any American in the Philippines has to have long distance loving. Like, we have Filipinos over here, and they live their culture just like they live it over there in the Philippines. There's no reason why you have to fear coming over here to America. If you are married to someone and you come over here to America, keep your little cheating butt with your husband. You ain't got to worry about other men, other women, and being influenced and taught Western principles or nothing. You're going to be with your husband. Is your husband in the Philippines teaching you Western principles? Okay then. Your job is to be here by your husband's side. I don't understand why you make such a big deal, or he makes a big deal, about bringing you here to the States. Like we don't have women over here that's more prettier than her. Like, come on, man. Women get raped in the Philippines, women get raped in the States. Women get hit on in the Philippines, they get hit on in the States. Filipinos are cheating, white women are cheating, black women are cheating here in the States. They're doing it in the Philippines too. What's the big deal? Stop acting like the Philippines is heaven, and when you take a girl out of the Philippines, you're taking her down to earth. Get the heck out of here with that crap. Okay, if you're sick, your wife needs to be by your side, whether you're in the Philippines or in, now I understand that my brother Irvin, he has younger children, just like Sunshine Shoulders, which I just found out. He has younger children, whether they're his, I think they're his, but he has younger children. His wife has to stay in the Philippines and take care of their children. So, you gotta have a plane ticket for all of them different individuals. So, in that case, and it's weird how, these women gotta have their children. They don't care if he's an old man ready to die. Like, I don't want to have a kid and I'm too old and tired and sleepy and weak to go play football with him or go play baseball with him or take him swimming or whatever. I don't want to do that. I'm done having kids. My kids are grown. I want to meet a woman that got a grown daughter around the same age as my daughters. That's what I want to be. I don't want to meet a woman who's like, oh, well, you can marry a Filipina and a younger Filipina if you get her pregnant. I don't want to get her pregnant. I want to hook up with a woman that has a teenage or a college age son or daughter, and we all get along just fine, and that's it. I don't want to have small kids and break my leg trying to chase them around the house and go hit myself in the face with a softball and end up, maimed for life. I don't want to, try to pull my kid out of a fight and get my butt kicked. Okay, you know what I'm saying? No, I want grown kids. I got grown kids. I want grown kids. I want her to have grown kids. So I'm okay with marrying a woman that's like within like 10 years younger than me to 15 years younger than me. 20 years younger than me, that's kind of pushing it. You know what I mean? But this right here, every man's dream, regardless of how old he is. You know what I mean? What a crush, But anyway, let me finish.
Child care, child support, HOAs, and a whole bunch of stuff that can double or even triple your budget. It's not that we don't have some of that stuff, but back in the Philippines, they're actually cheap. It's only pennies on the dollar. The car insurance, for example, instead of costing $2,000 a year for some folks, it's only a few hundred. A haircut that costs $20 in the US is only $2 in the Philippines. And we don't even have stuff like HOAs, or maybe in the exclusive subdivisions, but not really in an average Filipino home. I've seen how you guys get hit with all these big expenses, and you'd have a really hard time just surviving without earning a pretty hefty income. Now, the American dream refers to having the freedom and opportunity to have a better life, and I can definitely say it does still exist, but you have to sacrifice an awful lot to get it. 50 or 60 years ago, a married couple only needed to have one paycheck in order to live pretty well. You could have a house and feed the whole family on that, but these days, both parents have to jump on that treadmill, and they're still barely making it. What the heck happened? Is the American dream still worth it? Well, that's gonna vary from person to person. I guess it just depends on what you're looking for. But I can definitely say that life can be really sweet here, if you can afford it. Well, that's it for today's episode, and thank you so much for going fishing with me.
So, I agree with her last statement there. Life here can be a blessing if you can afford it. And that's what I'm going through right now. Like, I'm trying to afford it. But it doesn't mean that, I'm going to go over to the Philippines and, what I'm saying, everything's going to be cheaper either. You know what I mean? That's a different place. And that's a different place, a different culture. And prices are, like she said, some of the things that are expensive, why are they more expensive? They don't cost anything to be expensive. Why are they so expensive? And then the things that are expensive over here are cheaper over there, So there's things over there that are cheaper over there, but they're expensive over here. And then there's things over there that are more expensive, but they're cheaper over here. So again, it's all about life is pleasant here or there if you can afford it. Now, to me, I'll never ever give up America. I'll never turn my back on America. I could see myself being somewhere else. See, this right here, that's just wrong. But, I showed you this video earlier, and they got rid of, they're getting rid of some, and it's all over Asia. It's not just Japan or the Philippines, but it's all over Asia where black people, number one, are going over there and making a fool out of Americans, and also other men from Russia and men from other countries. They're just making. I didn't know it snowed in Japan. If that's what that was, but it's just the way it is. And but I will say, God bless the continent of Asia. I think other than what Japan and China has done to America and they're still trying to do to America, try to steal off of us to build their own culture and try to raise prices so that Americans can't even afford it, so that America is in debt with them and stuff like that. But Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they have investments into the Philippines, and so that really blesses my heart as well, too. Matter of fact, I believe some people have said that if people start hating on Elon Musk's Tesla program, too much, that Elon Musk will just move it to the Philippines. He can do that. It's already set up. He would move it, and the Philippines would be rich because of it. He would just move the business to the Philippines and do it from the Philippines, And he's already invested, and he already has contracts in that with the Philippines. So, the Philippines is the only part of Asia that I really, 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 really am basically impressed with. I'm not really impressed with Japan all that much, and I'm not really impressed with China. I'm tempted with some of the less expensive countries, the countries that are less rich, because I've met women. Yeah, here we go. I met women that actually have come from Cambodia, like some gorgeous women that have come from Cambodia. I've met gorgeous women that have come from Indonesia. Matter of fact, my first Asian crush is from Indonesia. And so there you have it. But it's really not Japan and China. I think Japan and China is too much and too scary for me. But the Philippines and Thailand really, 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 really got me thinking. And, I wouldn't mind someday before I retire paying them a visit. I really wouldn't. And who knows if it works out anywhere where I would ever imagine. If they blow my mind, they might become my second home, but it would never become my final home. It would always be a second home, because I will never turn my back on America. I love my country. I love my state. I love our culture, our conservative culture. Okay? I don't really think anything can beat it. If, we're getting beat up. It's not that you're beating our culture. You're beating us up. You're beating, you're beating our morals. You're using immorality to interrupt our morals. This is the best country in the world that I live in. Okay? This is the best country in the world that I live in. I would never just throw it away just to spend less money. Okay? The way I feel about my country is, if it gets expensive here, then I need to figure out a way to afford it. I'm not going to just throw it away, because I've been born and raised here. I buried my mother here. Okay? This is my country. And I'm going to tell you something. In these tribulation days, that's what we're in. We're headed towards Great Tribulation. In these tribulation days, when America fails, everybody's going to fail. You're not going to be living, America will never become a third world, and then other countries become what's the opposite of third world? Become a big democracy or something. They're like this now because they've been robbing America. A lot of the power of Japan and the power of China is been robbing America. Okay? And Donald Trump is putting a stop to that. Okay? But I think Asian people are amazing. And I think they're all amazing. And not just the women, but just Asian people, period. I think they're amazing people. And, where would we be without them? But at the same time, I love my country, and I love their countries too. But I don't love their sin. I don't love their things that they've allowed to seep into our country, the things that we adjust to from their countries. I don't like the kind of cultures that they bring over here to our country and want us, like they say that Asian students in like China, per se, they say Chinese students on these Apple phones or whatever, they are studying courses to help them in college. Whereas they're selling us the same software for games and money scams and stuff like that, gambling games and all that kind of stuff. It's wild, but nevertheless, more people like me, born again Christians like me, whether you're Asian, black, white, whatever you are, the world will be a better place. Period. Okay? Thank you for watching. This has been way too long. We will watch more later.